We've got a little bit of heat here. It's not going to last very long. So why Access for the database that we're choosing here? In no way, shape, or form is Access either number one, the most used database. It is not. It is not number two, the best database to use. Every database has good points and bad points, and frankly, Access's bad points limit it pretty substantially in comparison to a lot of the other solutions that we might use. So those things being said, why on earth would we take a class here that uses Access as the primary driver to help you interact with data in a database, interact with queries in a database, and interact with forms in a database? What I'll tell you is a lot of times the easiest software to use is the right one to start with. And far and away, Microsoft Access is the easiest database and front end. So the front end is the thing that you as a user actually get to interact with. Access is far and away the easiest database to get to use for that. It's also true that Access offers a really very robust and really fairly familiar front end for you, the user, to be able to interact with. As long as you've ever seen Microsoft Word, as long as you have ever seen PowerPoint, you have, it's going to look a little foreign, but not wholly unfamiliar. So Access really is a great place to start. What I will tell you is a lot of individuals out there are going to tell you, the real sticklers for things databasey, the real sticklers for things computer sciencey are going to tell you that other databases are better. There are better databases that do other better different things. You will hear MySQL, MySQL. SQL, if you see that, it is pronounced SQL. You will see that MySQL is a vastly better database because it has vastly better internet connectivity. That is very, very true. But the front end side of it is punishingly difficult for new users like yourselves to have to get to know. And there's no great value in that. There's actually a different brand of Microsoft SQL. So Access is put together, it was really bought and then rolled up into the Microsoft Office suite, but it's still Microsoft. And still, they have a very, very different version of a SQL type server, a database server. And they're very different. But you know what Access does better? It does better front-end management. So you as a new user can go in and understand what's going on before you have to get to the punishingly difficult, or maybe not difficult, but hard to pick up because it's so punishingly hard. Again, it's not hard, but it's a very poor choice of words. But let's not start there, right? There's a reason that driver's ed cars are very, very often, 10-year-old Toyota Corollas or 10-year-old Honda Civics. It's not because those are bad cars. There is no other car that would put up with that kind of abuse that a driver's ed student can possibly put on there, right? If I put somebody learning to drive in a Lamborghini, in a punishingly difficult car to drive, you know what I've just created? A casualty. They're gonna die, right? Because they're going to get torn apart by the difficulty of the Lamborghini. That's what would happen if we used a different database system here, is it would tear you apart. Access is a fantastic Toyota Corolla. It is not very fast. It has severe limitations when cornering. However, it takes a massive amount of abuse, and it is entirely familiar to anybody who has ever cast their eyes upon it. So the Toyota Corolla of the database world, Microsoft Access, is the software that we are going to use. And then from there, when you choose to continue on with other different databases that have other different strengths and weaknesses, the core set of values that we see here with data entry, the core set of values that we see here with running queries, the core set of values that we see here with generating reports, all of those things will transfer over into other different languages so that you will have a good footing, a good foundation, and an opportunity not to become a casualty of MySQL or Mongo database or any of the other different kinds of database structures that are out there.